All right. When this fucking guy goes and breaks his neck again, I'm gonna be the only one saying I told you so. I fucking told you so.
Vince, he's gonna. I think he's gonna be smart when he makes his return. He's not gonna take as many of the risks. I think he's gonna be smart. He's not gonna be stupid. He's not gonna be flying all over the place. I think he's gonna have some big restrictions. But I mean, at the end of the day, this is a moment that we didn't think we were gonna have. You know, they finally got him back in the ring, and now it's inevitable. He's probably going to be in a tag match with Shane against Kevin Owens and Sammy at WrestleMania. So he gets back in the ring, and he will remain in the WWE because he had stated if they weren't going to let him wrestle, he was going to leave and go where he could. So
yeah, if they didn't clear him by Mania even.
Well, right. That was like his thing. It was like, I'm either wrestling at Mania or I'm out.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I feel, first of all, putting my personal feelings about him aside, looking at it as a human being objectively, he's got a wife and a kid, and one more bad move and he's in a wheelchair.
You know what, Vince? I get it. I get it. I
have no interest. I have zero interest in seeing this guy wrestle because I don't want to fly down to New Orleans to watch somebody cripple themselves. That's not why I'm going on a vacation to WrestleMania. I don't want to see somebody go limp from the neck down like he did on SmackDown or Raw, whatever it was that one time he was wrestling Randy Orton. I don't want to see that. That's against why I'm going to WrestleMania. So I don't know. I just don't. If he does the dive to the outside and slams his head against the barricade again,
he should not do a dive.
But he's gonna. He's gonna.
I mean, look, here's the thing, Vince. I get what you're saying, but here's where I look at it. Number one, he's a grown-ass man. So if he makes that decision and his wife is supporting the decision, then do what you got to do. But I get what you're saying. Nobody wants to see it happen. But if he is being told he is medically cleared and safe to get in the ring, then it's no different than any other of the superstars in the back to get into the ring. Because any wrong move, you can end up like Draws, for example. Or, you know, I mean, it could happen to any of them.
But Kurt Angle wrestled for the whatever 5-6 years in between where Daniel Bryan wasn't wrestling, and every time Kurt Angle wrestled, all you hear is, "Oh, his neck. What if he messes up his neck? He's so old, he's gonna break his neck." It's like nobody seems to give a shit about Daniel Bryan's neck because they'd all rather just go, "Oh my God, he's back!" And then when he cripples himself in like 18 months, I'm gonna have a show on YouTube called "I Told You So," and I'm gonna read people's fucking names. I'm going to tag them on Twitter, and I'm going to read their Twitter handle and go at blank, 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 at not Sam. Sam Roberts, you suck. I told you so. You know, I'm just going to go down the line at whomever. I told you so. Because he's going to end up in a goddamn wheelchair like the Dynamite Kid, and it's not going to be so funny, and nobody's going to be chanting yes, yes, yes. They're going to be going, no, no, no. I understand what you're saying. He's cleared. The doctors say he's cleared. But Kurt Angle, he had a bad neck. We all worried about it. We still worry about it. Edge, we still worry about his neck. Anybody who had a neck injury, Jesse Sorensen, never saw him again. There are people with neck. Hayabusa did a backflip, land on his head, crippled. I'm just saying there's precedent here where, sure, you can come back and have the Shawn Michaels run and then retire, and that'd be great. But then you could also have the Dynamite Kid retirement, where, you know, somebody's wheeling you around and feeding you mushed peas. So I'm just on the other side. And again, I'm putting like personal feelings aside. I just think, first of all, I don't think the WWE should have ever cleared him to wrestle again. I don't think it's safe. I don't think it's recommended. You know what? Again, they're grown people. If they want to go for it, go for it. I disagree.
I mean, listen, I get it. Nobody wants to see Daniel Bryan get hurt. You know, it's really such a catch-22 because on one side, you really want to get excited and see him back in the ring, you know, and just hear the roar of the crowd. And then on the other side, you know, you're right. I mean, the last thing you want is to be watching and him not move and them throw up a true X. And that's the last you see of Daniel Bryan. I mean, I get it. It sucks.
Now come with me here. I want to walk down a road of suppose. Suppose this is a big Russo swerve.
Oh, geez.
Suppose this is he announces. Suppose he says that WrestleMania he's going to tender his resignation one way or another. And since they've decided to let him wrestle, he's going to wrestle. But for all intents and purposes, he's done. What if this is like the send off for Daniel Bryan?
Like
and
one last hurrah kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I could see that being possible. There's still a lot he can do.
We have 53 minutes to find until we find out, I suppose. For those of you who aren't aware, live on SmackDown to open the show up is going to be Daniel Bryan addressing the audience. Real briefly, since I started with this guy's going to be in a fucking wheelchair, I'll go back and start for real here. This is the War Report brought to you by TagMeADate.com, the first and only dating site exclusively for fans of professional wrestling. You too can find your tag team match on TagMeADate.com. It is free to sign up. 75,000 superstars and divas all over the world for you to search by location, by zip code, by interest in wrestlers or wrestling events, etc. Upload a profile picture or submit your own promo video rather than a profile picture. You can let them know that just like Ric Flair. Let me tell you something, Eric. Space Mountain. Oldest ride, longest line. Woo! So you can give them a little bit of that and get them to ride your space. No, I can't say ride your space. Well, we're on YouTube. We're not going to get kicked off anything. They'll ride your Space Mountain. Woo! On tagmeadate.com for free. Sign up. I mean, they won't ride Space Mountain for free. There's admission. But to sign up for the website, tagmeadate.com is free. Woo! All right. So now that we're back to that, SmackDown, I guess, automatically is more interesting than anything that happened on Raw last night, maybe aside from the Ultimate Deletion. The rest of the show was just kind of there. I guess the opening segment was big. Was that big? I don't know. I watched it. I was like, there was only one or two. There were two ways it was going to go. They were going to go the predictable route, and Roman Reigns was going to go ooh-ah and break the handcuffs and start fighting Brock Lesnar, which I was on board for that one. I bit for that. I'm like, oh, he's going to break the handcuffs and make his dumb comeback like he always does. But he didn't. He took his beating like a good boy.
Lesnar out with the handcuffs.
Right, yeah. I
Brock
thought Roman Reigns.
him.
You're right. I thought Roman was coming out on top on that exchange. I guess I shouldn't because we're so close to WrestleMania, but it's just such a Roman Reigns-y thing to do, being attacked by U.S. Marshals and handcuffed and all this shit, and then still make a comeback.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm pretty convinced myself that Roman's walking out of Mania as champion, so he's going to get his licks and he's going to take his beatings now because he's going to go over at Mania.
We knew that the second Brock Lesnar pinned Goldberg in Orlando. We knew that.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, it hasn't been a shocker or a surprise, which is why nobody's excited about it because it's almost just like
there is a surprise. The surprise is that they actually stuck with Roman Reigns. I mean, that's really the shock because
the last 5 years haven't been an indication of what they were going to do with Roman Reigns.
Yeah, but you know what? It's like they did the right thing and they gave us AJ Shinsuke. So I said, okay, they're doing the right thing. This is going to be a Mania about the people.
Yeah, it's going to be a great opening match. It's going to be like Edge and Del Rio at WrestleMania. They're just going to open the show with it. There you go.
But I just, listen, it is what it is. I mean, the big shock will be if Brock walks out as champion, which
they really should. Honestly, and I'm not saying anything against Roman Reigns as a performer or whatever. Maybe it's his time. Maybe often seek a strong arm Vince years ago into promising that the guy was going to main event to WrestleMania, not realizing that plans change. So he has to throw that in there somewhere because he owes somebody or it was promised to somebody. But I think if they went with Lesnar, it would be nobody would see it coming.
Right.
It would be the most unpredictable finish since The Undertaker lost the first time at WrestleMania.
True story.
And he can still win it at SummerSlam.
Right.
Or even the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, or whatever. Or the next night on Monday Night Raw. I don't care. I just don't want to be there. Just, have it happen in another. It's like Bret Hart. He didn't want to lose in Montreal. I'm like, any town he wants to win it in is fine. New Orleans, I just want to enjoy my vacation. I 14 days until I leave.
That's exciting.
I'm jealous.
So let me ask you guys. Vince, you said Raw was kind of lackluster with the exception of some spots. I don't know. I kind of was into Raw all the way through. I thought Raw was pretty solid. I got to be honest. My only issue was Ultimate Deletion.
You didn't like that?
Dude, fucking A, man. You know what? I don't know why. I know why, but I don't like. It's the same fucking problem I had with it in TNA. It was too cartoony. It was too edited. It was too movie-ish. You know what I'm saying? Pro wrestling, we know what it is. It's entertainment, but in a realist form. Like, to me, Ultimate Deletion would have been so much better if it was just fighting in the ring, fighting in the woods, no speeding up and, you know, this one running this way and this one running this way and on ultra speed. Like, to me, that kind of shit was just too cartoonish. It drove me nuts. You know, the end of the match, you know, where you saw Brother Nero and you saw Senior Benjamin and, you know, even like, I love everything about Vanguard 1. I love the whole drone deal. I love all that. But even that, dude, like, it was too, like, Mission Impossible, like, fucking, I couldn't buy into it, dude. I was very disappointed with it. I don't know.
Is it supposed to be funny, though?
Yeah,
I guess
it exists as a different.
It's supposed to be like Sharknado, that kind of thing.
Ha ha ha! Like laughing because I was laughing the whole time.
It's deliberately stupid, like Sharknado.
I know it's deliberately stupid because Matt Hardy's gimmick is deliberately stupid in a great way because I love it. Yeah. But I don't know, man. That
the wheel of chairs
doesn't do it for me.
Mower of lawn.
It's hilarious, but it's not. I wanted to see them beat the fucking hell out of each other. You know, like this is the finish. This is the big deletion. And it just, I don't know, dude. Like all the vignettes were great.
I agree with you on that. It could have been a little bit more visceral.
Yeah, I think there could have been more violence to it, and there could have been more. Here's the thing:
they had fireworks going off during the fucking match. Like, what was that? Like, it just was weird.
Well, the thing is, in TNA, they would use the Roman candles as an offensive weapon. I have a feeling the WWE, being a little more responsible, said, yeah, we really shouldn't show kids that you can fire fireworks at your friend.
Right.
So they had to do so. I didn't like the way they did the fireworks either. I think if they wanted to incorporate the fireworks, there was a better way to do it. That was a little silly. But I mean, the whole thing,
you just
the broomstick protocol. Yeah, he says, what the hell is that? Well, that's because they cut the pyro budget like 6 months ago, so he doesn't know what it is.
Yeah.
They haven't seen it.
Which, by the way, not to change the subject, but real quick, sidebar. Do we not get pyro now all year because we're gonna get it at Mania, or are we gonna have apparently
Ultimate Relation?
Right? Yeah, they. Well, I'm sure Matt Hardy used his whatever they gave him an Ultimate Deletion budget, and he worked fireworks into it somehow. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't. Here's the thing. I don't think it should be 1998 Monday Nitro, where every top of the hour we just have a fucking fireworks show.
Right.
That's not what we should do. Is certain superstars like Randy Orton,
Kane.
Yes. Why the easiest thing? Come on, man. It's like the flames for Kane when. It makes no sense for Kane to put his arms like this and go, wah, and then nothing happens.
Well, no, you hear the sound effect.
Right, but that's like he farted or something. There's no flame. It doesn't. They didn't even put like. Here's the thing: if they have the LEDs on the turn on the ring post now, if they turn the ring posts off and then he went like this, and then maybe the ring posts did like a fire thing. I don't know. It almost makes sense, but it's still and the LED ring skirt in the front could be off, and then he could turn it on. But still, man, I'm not saying not everybody needs pyro, but Kane. And that can't be that much
Or
money.
Lesnar,
One
like,
guy
does the whole
yes.
his arm move.
Right. It looks like when they do those when you're so used to something, it's almost like swinging at a knuckleball or a curveball. You know, like when you see a batter and they foul off a couple, they have the fastball, they have the eye on the fastball, and then the guy throws a curveball and he just swings around 3 times and misses and twists into the ground. That's what it feels like. It feels like a guy swinging at a knuckleball and missing because they're doing all this buildup and then nothing happens.
Yes, exactly.
So where is it? So either they can change it and modify the entrances, but they've been doing them for so long that why? Or just add it's a couple people like again Randy Orton. Remember the shower of sparks and he did the whole deal.
Yeah,
wonderful.
It was a good entrance.
The only other guy I could even think of that would need pyro was like Ryback had the bang thing, and Lesnar, and there maybe
does have the bang. He looks weird.
There aren't too many guys. There's a handful of guys. Yeah, Batista. Well, could you imagine Batista's budget? They must have saved so much money when he went to that thing and just walked down with the spotlight.
Yeah.
Do you know how stupid he would look without the and he goes like this?
Could you imagine? Oh no. It would look like.
I mean, it looked dumb enough as it was.
It would look like nickel handjob day at the whorehouse. I don't know. So, speaking of Raw, we had only 2 comments from in our email inbox. So please go to askthewarreport@gmail.com.
We have a question too.
We did have a question. Excellent. All right. So Medulla sent us his comments for Raw. I'll go through this really quickly. The title of the email is Cena the Colicky Kid. So I think we know where this is going. Medulla writes, I feel like Casey Kasem. Medulla writes, this is getting pathetic from John Cena. ... Leave the Undertaker alone. Let him retire. That legend has done way much more than anyone else for this business, in the entire history of entertainment wrestling. He has nothing to prove. Cena is a paper champion. WWE was so desperate for a face, they made this guy a 16-time champ. He would have gotten lost in the shuffle back in the day. Go away, John Cena. Just go away. I like how it rhymed at the end there. I'd rather have my colicky kid cry. I feel like this is just the structure and the all of this. It feels like it's a plaque at like the Statue of Liberty or something.
Yeah.
Would have gotten lost in the shuffle back in the day. Go away, John. Just go away. I'd rather hear my colicky kid cry. Like that's at the base of a statue, right? He took the road less traveled, I suppose. So the other comment he had about Raw, which I guess would just be both of them out there since we're discussing Raw. I'm speechless. OMG compound. He's a master of the email subject too, which is good because if you send no subject, sometimes you don't know what it's about. I'm speechless, so I'm going to give what I think in emoji form. Long story short, it was a bunch of poops, a little monkey, and then a bunch more poops. So I'm not sure. Is the monkey pooping? And like I know monkeys like to throw their poops. Is that where we're going with this?
I just read it as that match was the shits.
Yeah, I mean I understand. I'm trying to dig deeper into the. Maybe we shouldn't dig deeper into the poop.
Or I didn't give a monkey crap about this match.
Right there you go. We
monkey crap. There you go.
The little rock reference. There we go. Yeah, Medulla. Different strokes for different folks. I thought it was funny. It was different from everything else when it's contained. Here's the thing. They call it the broken universe. They're acknowledging that it's like a separate thing. The whole idea being as soon as you get into the lost woods of the Hardy compound, some spooky shit happens. So it's kind of like The Undertaker where we just accept that he's a dead guy that takes souls and shoots lightning. Even though he rode a motorcycle and came out to American Badass, he can still shoot lightning and kill people. I don't know. We just accept the mythology of The Undertaker. I feel like if you just accept broken Matt Hardy for what he is, and acknowledge that match won't be happening ever again. And if they do something similar, it will also just take place on the Hardy compound and be in its own separate universe. That's fine. They're acknowledging it. They're finding a reason to say it's separate. And it's
You have to take it for what it is.
Right. You just don't look any deeper into it. And the only thing I'm curious about is first of all, I want to make this observation. Now it's happened the other way around, where in the last 15, 16 years, TNA has taken the continuity of WCW or WWE and applied it to their stories. Like the one time when the Nasty Boys used a lead pipe against the Steiners, and then they recreated that finish like 20 years later. So the TNA will take the continuity of an older promotion and apply it to their current stories. This is the first time I can ever think of that the WWE or even the WWF took something that happened outside of their company and made it kayfabe. Accepted that, like the Lake of Reincarnation. They didn't explain it. They didn't show anybody else going into it. You just know from watching the other deletion matches that when somebody gets thrown into the Lake of Reincarnation, they come out differently. But you would only know that from watching Impact. So it's just strange to me that WWE is just letting this lie and saying, okay, these are characters from another promotion. We're not going to talk about the other promotion, but they're established characters, and now you're just going to have to become familiar with them. Like Queen Rebecca. Okay, I've known Rebby since 2010, 2012-ish.
Yeah.
The first day she met Matt, it was a show that I was working. And from there, a long history begins. But back when I first met Rebby, there was no way in hell the sentence, Rebby Sky just showed up on Monday Night Raw, would ever come out of anyone's mouth. It just wasn't going to happen. She had just broken up with a production guy. She got in a big fight with him. It was a whole deal. And she was just persona non grata with WWE for the most part, from everything that I heard. Rumor and innuendo, as Bruce Pritchard might say. But it was a very real thing that Matt acknowledged and Rebby acknowledged that if he came back at that time to WWE, she wouldn't be used in any capacity. So growing and changing, and things have happened to where now Rebby's on Raw. What the fuck? It's great, but I mean, it's not something I would
scream on the piano, by the way.
And I was listening. I'm like, oh, because I thought she was going to break into Obsolete.
Yeah,
but she didn't. I was like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, she's playing Broken Out in Love or whatever.
They're gonna save that for when Brother Nero's back.
Oh yeah. Now the finish to that match is the intriguing part, because we had a couple things. First of all, Senor Benjamin throwing the globe-shaped beach ball. He got the whole world.
That was so funny.
That was brilliant.
Yeah, I loved it.
Medulla, I know you hated it, but you had to like that. Everybody liked that. He flipped over Skarsgård, the dilapidated boat, which is now a golden boat, and Senor Benjamin, he throws the thing. He's got the whole, and then Brother Nero shows up. He's got the whole world in his hands, and then fucking right into the twist of fate, throws him in, then they throw him into the lake, and his carcass is gone. What happened to his carcass? I think they're teasing that because he's kind of, Bray Wyatt evolved over the years from the white pants, Hawaiian shirt, fedora hat kind of Cape Fear,
the Waylon Mercy,
the Waylon Mercy character, which was based on De Niro and Cape Fear, and he moved on from that, and he kind of adapted like the clothing that he wears in real life, a lot of stuff with like the occult stuff on it, and then like
cleaver thing,
right? Like he dressed more like a metalhead kind of guy, like somebody you'd see at a metal show, like moshing around in the pit. He adapted more of that into his wardrobe. Maybe with the flashbacks and all of that, they're insinuating that Bray Wyatt's going to go back to a little more Bray Wyatt classic.
It better not be Husky Harris.
Right, yeah. If he comes out as Husky Harris, I mean, you might as well just,
that would have been a fun pop out of the lake as Husky.
Oh, it would have been a nice, see, they and again, this was the WWE
Day Time Machine kind of thing.
Yeah, this was the WWE version of the deletion match. There wasn't they needed to throw in more of those little nods to the original deletion matches. I mean, get Bobby Eaton and put him back up in the crane. You know, was it Bobby Eaton? I forget who it was. I think it was Bobby Eaton.
Have the Hurricane make an appearance.
It was Ricky Morton. Okay, but yeah, have the Hurricane make an appearance. Like throw in little teases to the old and they did do a fair number of them, like George Washington, the giraffe showed up and all that stuff. But yeah, I think.
Does he really have a giraffe? How did he get that?
Well, he also has monkey. Here's the thing, and a kangaroo. But I don't know if he's going to a local North Carolina zoo or animal preserve to film these. Or here's the deal: they just have a lot of money, and there's a lot of land in North Carolina, and they bought a lot of it.
They have a lot of land, yeah.
It's very possible that they could have apes or chimpanzees, whatever they are. They call them spot monkeys, but I don't think that's actually correct. He named them Nick and Matt, the spot monkeys.
I don't think that's a technical animal term.
Yeah, that's not the genus or the species.
No.
And then he had Joe Louis, Smoking Joe was the kangaroo, and George Washington the giraffe. I don't know. That's a really good question that I don't think you'd get a real answer for.
What was the goldfish's name?
Napoleon. And they all
chess with them or something.
Right. Supposedly, all of these animals have the spirit of the great leaders inhabited in them. Hence, Smoking Joe, and
that just happens to be their vessel.
Right, the vessel for this particular whatever.
Okay, but can we all admit that it was better than House of Horrors?
Oh, it was years ago.
There was no death by refrigerator, so yeah, we're good.
But they did acknowledge House of Horrors, though, with the house, with Bray's house.
I liked that.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And they go, wake up. You know, he goes into Bray Wyatt's ears, and that's like something Bray Wyatt would do to somebody else. So that was a cool kind of flip flop on the thing, because then, like, the thing is, he's getting out spookied by Matt. Like, Bray Wyatt's a pretty, he's been a spooky guy, and he's kind of getting out weirded. So it's interesting to see the weird guy get out weirded. Nice little little reversal on it.
I'd also like to see Matt Hardy with this gimmick face somebody who wouldn't know what to do with a broken Matt. Like John Cena would just be like, "What the fuck is going on?"
He teased a feud with Reigns. That'd be interesting.
The large canine.
The large canine is a great nickname.
Just watching Reigns try and react.
Yeah, I would. You know what would be a good one? Hear me out here.
What's
Dean
that?
Ambrose. Dean Ambrose versus Matt Hardy.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I like it.
Some kind of weird.
A good hardcore match.
Yeah, it would be a good like street fight, ultimate deletion kind of match. Yeah, I think I would be into that.
How about someone like Aleister Black?
Ooh. He might be a little too serious though. That's the thing. He's so serious.
Watching him try and be serious while it's insanity's around.
Maybe the dudes from Sanity maybe could be.
That would be cool. But Bray Wyatt, I mean, no.
Matt Hardy, Eric Young. I mean, they do have history in TNA. So.
You could do the trio of Sanity against the Hardys and Bray Wyatt if Bray Wyatt turns babyface.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Bray could very easily get caught up in this whole thing and become one of Matt's kind of disciples in a way.
Right. Because he said he tried to exercise the spirit of Sister Abigail out of. Now you see, here's the thing. It's supposedly a bad segment that's so stinky that everybody's complaining about it. We're sitting here discussing the thing and picking apart pieces of it and like, oh, this would be great for the next one. And it's like, this shit got over. Low key is going to be one of those things where someone's like, you know what? I'm going to watch this like 3 days from now. They're going to go, you know, I'm going to watch this again. I got to see what they did.
I can honestly say I will not be watching it again. That's for sure.
I'll give the old ones a watch too. I haven't seen those in a while. What was the other question? If you can find it amongst the poop emojis.
Hold on.
Now remember, and as you're looking, I'll remind people that if you send in a question to AskTheWarReport@gmail.com or use the hashtag AskTheWarReport and tag me a date on social media, you will be entered into our WrestleRumble.com pay-per-view pick'em contest, where every month we take one of the askers of a question and give them a free pick to WrestleRumble.com. Now, the next
asker of question.
Yes, the asker of questions, wonderful. The next one's WrestleMania, right?
Yep.
There's not like thank God there's no roadblock end of the line or any of that horse shit happening this year.
Big one.
So WrestleMania is the next big one. And I'm sure, first of all, there's about 76 different matches for WrestleMania. So if you're gonna be doing a pay-per-view pick'em, you might as well do this one because there are a ton of options.
We're also doing a NXT Takeover pick'em.
Cool.
So there you go. If you feel like you'd have a better beat on NXT than WrestleMania, you can use your pick for that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And beat Frank the Clown, please. So all you gotta do.
Someone do it.
I mean, not physically, but if you want to, go ahead. I just mean in the pick'em game.
Condone it.
Right, we don't condone violence. We'll just talk about it.
Stop you.
Right, like
that
dude
condones canoodling.
Right, like if you happen to send an email to AskTheWarReport@gmail.com of a video where you like accidentally ran the guy over in your car, we'd play it. I'm not saying we wouldn't play. I'm just saying I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just saying I'd play it on the show.
Yeah.
You know,
and we like Frank. I don't have any beat. I don't have any heat with Frank.
We have to play it.
I'm just saying you need to beat Frank at this trivia game, this pick'em game. That is your task if you're listening to the show. Beat Frank the Clown in this game.
You beating him.
There you go. All right, we'll see what happens. So yeah, WrestleRumble.com, pay-per-view pick'em. Send the question to AskTheWarReport@gmail.com. Amanda, have you found the question?
Yes, and then we also have one from the chat as well.
Oh, okay, excellent.
Okay, so the one that was sent in is from my favorite fellow Canadian, No Holds Barred podcast, who was on last week.
Yes.
Awesome.
No Holds Barred. Look those guys up on social media as well.
A question and a comment. So the question is, do you think that they will keep Undertaker off of TV, similar to the way Bray Wyatt feud at WrestleMania 31?
Unfortunately. I
certainly
think so.
Seems like it. I mean,
yeah.
we're 3 weeks away. Raw's already happened, and next week he's wrestling Kane.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen when Cena wrestles Kane, and then what? Because first
what
of
if
all,
they do this switch out?
Like in the middle of the match, the gong in the darkness, that would be cool.
I mean, after Cena wins, he comes out as Kane, pulls off the mask.
Oh, okay. All right. Like they used to do. Remember when Kane and the Undertaker used to dress? Yeah. All right. I like that. I think he needs to be involved because the way, first of all, they were really funny. And I don't think anybody took them seriously. And if they did, you need to go get some oxygen or some sunlight or something. When they were like, "Is Kane going to face John Cena at WrestleMania?" And I'm like, no, no, you don't not give John Cena an opponent for WrestleMania and then 3 weeks out go, you know what? Fuck it, it's Kane. What, did the Big Show have a fucking wedding to go to? Like,
I'm a huge Kane fan, and I know that isn't gonna happen.
Right, like you'd be 6 years. I think even 6-year-olds are like, nah, that's not likely, boss. You know what I mean?
I think people would rather not see the match at all than to see him versus Kane.
Mm-hmm.
And I have nothing against Kane. That's not a WrestleMania match.
Libertarian Kane.
Libertarian Kane. Yeah, he comes out and just gives economics lessons instead of wrestling. And what was the comment?
So they say, just an opinion, but I don't feel like Lesnar and Reigns have sold me enough on a WrestleMania feud. Feels more like SummerSlam so far. Hashtag not my main event.
That was the greatest hashtag ever.
Yeah, I love that hashtag.
Yeah.
There's one that there's a T-shirt that has a picture of the guy from Hair Club for Men, and then the caption says "Not my president."
Yeah,
we could get that one for Eric. You could wear it on the show since he was going to wear his Daniel Bryan shirt and he didn't because I was busting balls about Daniel Bryan in the Facebook group earlier. So he wore Guns N' Roses.
Hey, welcome to the jungle, baby.
You're gonna die. I at least just wanted to put over your Daniel Bryan shirt since you didn't get a chance to wear it. Yeah, and I agree about the Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar thing because I think it's because we've all been anticipating it since last year. We just knew it was inevitable. Okay, yes, we've been waiting for 3 years for this match to fucking happen again, as Chris Jericho would say. So I'm fatigued. At this point, I think what they did was beat everybody into submission and go, all right, because you notice at this point, the attitude is, all right, just have the match, let them beat them, and then move on. Because it feels like they're never going to fucking move on and put anybody else over until they go, you know what? We got to put Roman Reigns over Brock Lesnar, god damn it, and it's got to be at WrestleMania. It's like, okay, fine. If it means that anything's going to change. If Roman Reigns becomes champion and then loses it to a brand new heel who then gets put over big and they have a rematch at SummerSlam, sure, you're building for the future, but you can't just keep throwing your eggs in this fucking Roman Reigns basket every single time when it doesn't help anybody. When you're sending people out for press, Roman Reigns goes out. When you're sending people out for Make-A-Wish, certainly he goes out. He's very popular. But who's better at it? There are tons of guys better. The guys from the Shield, the other two guys from the Shield are both way better at being on Good Morning America or any of those shows than Roman Reigns. Charlotte Flair's not bad. Cena's basically the ambassador for the whole thing. So
Cena's like the example of putting on TV shows and Make-A-Wish.
Yeah.
Even The Miz, who's a heel, would be a better.
The Miz, and he makes media appearances even as a heel because I heard something about this on and I don't know how I feel about it. We'll shop it around since it came up. Should we treat wrestling as a 24-hour kayfabe fest where on Twitter and on television and in the supermarket and while taking a dump in the morning, while reading the newspaper, they have to be in character 24/7? So like if somebody goes up to Braun and he doesn't go, these hands, they're like, oh, kayfabe. Or can we acknowledge that the Miz plays a bad guy on TV and then at 11:05 he gets to go home and be a normal guy?
Well, look at Stephanie McMahon. She's good at that. You know, she does her bad guy character on screen, but she does all the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
As regular Stephanie McMahon, you know, the business.
But we don't have, I just feel like it's, I don't know. Roman Reigns does show up in a suit a lot of times, but sometimes it's like, okay, dude, put the fucking vest away. Can we just stop with the wrestling gear?
At the same time, though, as far as kayfabe goes, I'm pretty sure that most of the Twitter stuff is kayfabe in character, and all the shit that these women were talking about Ronda Rousey was not for
their wrestling persona on Twitter.
Yeah. Now, if
that's
it's
like if you're an actor and you're using a Twitter handle like I don't know, like Superman, you're not going to talk as the actor. You're going to talk as Superman.
Right. And I mean, we can acknowledge if they post it on social media and it's part of the show, that's fine. That's what I mean. You can play along. But if it's like, let's say The Miz at The Miz WWE or whatever it is his account. And then he has another one that's at Mike Mizanin. And he just posts about like the fruit that he got at the farmer's market and something his dog did. And like, would people respond to that and be like, hey, Mike, how was the farmer's market? Or would they go, hey, man, that trick your dog did was awesome. Remember the thing you said? Awesome. Like people wouldn't separate. Hey, Cat made it.
Yeah.
I'd be here if I could.
Which is appropriate because we're about to answer a question from the chat. And it seems like there's at least one guy in the chat that is madly in love with both you and Amanda. So I'm glad you're both here now.
There tonight.
Oh, he's not. What's his name? Mike or Matt? What's his name? It begins with that. Right?
Oh, that dude Mike from last week.
Mike, yes. He's not in the chat this week, but okay. Well, what's our question from the chat?
Who would Braun's tag team partner be?
James Ellsworth.
Oh,
I say that with no hesitation.
Has to be. No Chin Wonder.
I think it's going to be Big Show.
Probably something.
I'm going
like
with Big Show also.
Or
could also be Big Cass.
Oh yes, because he just got cleared too. So in all the shuffle of Daniel Bryan getting cleared, Mr.
Maybe Dean Ambrose.
Yeah. Okay. So we got those are the options. We got injured Dean Ambrose who might come back. We got injured Big Cass who might come back, and we got Big Show who's always a possibility. I think Lars Sullivan could be a possibility from NXT.
Yeah.
If they're going with the big guy thing, I understand any of those choices.
Take Killian Dane from Sanity. He's a big guy.
But do you want to take Killian Dane from Sanity? Like,
no, I'm just.
Yeah, but he would fit the mold.
On television, I'm sorry.
Or War Machine. You could just bring. Could you imagine?
Unless he has a shirt on.
Who?
Killian.
Oh, Killian Dane. Why is he too hairy for you? Well,
he's a little hairy.
Warbeard Hansen is a hairy guy too.
Yes, he is.
Speaking of T-shirts, I guess the thing that we can welcome back is Big Cass's left nipple poking out of the shirt. Because he has that cut off. He cuts it off way too in, but it's always like crooked to one side. So he just gets one poking out there during his promos.
For all the ladies.
Yeah, it's for all the ladies out there. Yeah, who knows? I would love James Ellsworth.
He's got the nipple winking.
If you could wink a nipple, that would be about the creepiest thing that you could ever do with a human body.
I just got scared. Thanks.
Could you imagine a winking nipple? Like that'll keep you awake at night.
Name of a band.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Winking Nipples.
Who's opening for them? Human Pudding?
Human pudding, yes.
God, digging deep.
As he's wearing a Guns N' Roses shirt.
Right. Yes. It's kind of very nice.
I want
to complimented this shirt too.
I want to quickly move on to say congratulations to the latest inductee of the WWE Hall of Fame, Mark Henry.
Whoa!
I'm so excited about this.
He's very, very deserving.
Yeah.
And I can't. I think he's. Here's the thing. I kind of think when I heard that Batista turned down the Hall of Fame because he still believes he's got a lot left in the tank. As Mark Henry would say, Batista didn't want to retire because he wants to wrestle more, which is really admirable that he's a fucking multimillionaire and in some of the biggest movies ever, Spectre and 2 Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and he's going to be in the Avengers movies. I mean, Jesus Christ. And he wants to come back and take bumps. God bless him. But so they went to Mark Henry. I think, I don't want to say Mark Henry was a second choice because I think he was going in either way. I think he would have gone in next year because his retirement was so soon. He really just retired maybe a couple months ago.
Quietly, too.
Right, quiet. So I thought maybe they'd let it sit for a year and honor him, but I think they kind of might have pushed it forward because Batista didn't want to be one of the headliners this year. And of course, I have to do this in honor of. This is one of the best entrance songs. You remember when they actually, the 3-6 Mafia rapped this live on Smackdown one time?
I remember that.
Holy shit. They were very energetic. Mark Henry came over and they were like standing around. They needed to do that more often with him. That made Mark Henry was such. Here's the thing. Mark Henry started off he started off as a bodybuilder or a weightlifter rather. Olympic weightlifter. He competed in 92, I want to say. Maybe 96 as well. I know he at least competed in 92.
Both of them, yeah.
He didn't medal, but I mean, goddamn, it's weightlifting. That's hard to do. Just to make it to the Olympics is an accomplishment enough. So they brought him in. They didn't know what to do with him. He was in the nation. He was the sexual chocolate thing. He kind of floundered. He wasn't. Let's be frank.
He fathered a hand.
Yeah, they saw. Oh, yes, he gave birth. He sired a hand. Now.
Yeah, he didn't give birth to the hand. Right. Mae Young did.
He was the seed, the hand seed. Yes. So they didn't know what to do with this guy. They signed him to a 10-year contract. And they really didn't know what to do with him. And they signed it in 96. He wasn't the best talent for a number of years. He wasn't super great. And then one day, in like 2005, when he realized his 10-year contract was running up, a light bulb went off. He hit a career resurgence. He had some really, really good matches. He came up with the Hall of Pain.
Actually, wasn't it meant for Brodus Clay?
Yeah, it was probably the Hall of Pain. Yeah, the Hall of Pain was meant for. But I mean, he took these things.
He made it his own.
Right. He took what was essentially a floundering kind of mid-card career because he never really made it past the mid-card. He was featured in main events and stuff, but he never really took it seriously. If you were like The Undertaker against Mark Henry, oh well, The Undertaker's going to win in like 6 minutes. That was the perception. But he became a legit main eventer. He did the Hall of Pain. He did the fake retirement angle. The fake retirement angle, one of the best promos, and then the fallout from a promo of all time. It was a fantastic, sincere retirement speech. He wore that salmon-colored jacket.
No one will forget that color.
No, and no one would forget that segment. I still remember that. That was a holy shit moment.
He pulled me in. He had me
in a time where there's not a lot. It was a
tearjerker one. Yep.
Yeah.
There's
Daddy's coming home. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't buy into that shit. Like the only other time in the recent memory I can think of when they actually swerved people is that the Hardys came out at WrestleMania last year. Stuff like this doesn't happen in modern WWE like it used to back in the day when you had 3 companies and shit like that. So you had people bouncing around. So they had to do a fake retirement angle, which really it drew you in because you're like, oh man, Mark Henry's retiring. He's like, I still got a lot left in the tank. Yes, you do. He should have won that pay-per-view though. That's my one.
I would have loved to see that.
He should have beaten Cena, right? There was no reason for him to lose the first match back from a fake retirement. You don't. Why? Keep him real
because
retired.
It was John Cena. That's why.
Going back to Medulla's comment about the rhyme, go away, John Cena, go away. I would rather hear my colicky child cry than thee, or something like that.
And let me tell you from experience, that's bad.
Kat, we determined that was like a poem inscripted on a plaque near like the Statue of Liberty or something.
Or
John Cena, go away. Yeah, like it's just go away, John Cena, go away.
If you'd rather hear a colicky kid or a sick kid, that's just really bad.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say, because there is not much that makes me rather hear my kids when they're like that than John Cena. Maybe Roman Reigns.
I'm glad you mentioned Roman Reigns because I had a thought the other day and it kind of it was interesting to me, but at the same time I was like, nah, they would never do this. Or maybe they would years later. Roman Reigns with any type of short haircut.
Weird.
Okay, right. Isn't just I tried picturing him with like the Mad Men kind of like swept part, the side part.
He's completely bald though.
See, that's what I was thinking. It was like if he went really bald, but then would he look too much like The Rock when he shaved his head? Like there's a whole complement of problems that comes with
it. Trying to picture it. It's so weird.
Yeah, not working for me.
Like I was trying to picture him, and again, I understand that, and if I show a picture, please know that I'm only using it for reference. I'm not saying that this guy looks like Roman Reigns. I'm just trying to give an idea. Roman Reigns is not a Caucasian man, but so here's what I'm, like one of these mid-length kind of, how your hair's kind of swept up, like that kind of deal, like a.
Oh God, that's awful.
Could you imagine? Okay, so here's Beckham. Could you imagine Roman Reigns with a Beckham? Like a David Beckham haircut. You know what I mean?
It's just wearing like a suit all the time then.
Yeah, it's
like
just
the Miz's hair.
I like his hair, and I'm not saying there's anything against it. I'm just saying, what if, if they're ever trying to change the formula and they try and give him a haircut.
Though? 10 years ago, we probably couldn't imagine Hunter looking like this though either.
Yeah,
and he looks good with the shaved head.
He does, but probably if we went back, we probably wouldn't be thinking of Hunter without being with the long hair. It probably would be unmanageable.
As long as Roman doesn't do the man bun that he does sometimes.
That thing's off.
I like here's the other thing. He goes to the little rounded off goatee, like he's an offensive line coordinator in the NFL and he's like 39 years old or something. Like, come on, dude, it's not a slow pitch softball game. You don't need to trim your goatee like that. Grow a beard. Like when he grows in the rest of the beard, it just, I don't know, it looks better.
He's the ugly one out of that family. Sorry.
Who, Roman?
Yes.
Well, I mean, you're competing with The Rock. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's hard.
What are you gonna do when you're competing with The Rock?
Even the Usos or whatever.
All right, yeah, I can see that.
You don't think Roman's a good-looking guy?
No.
Wow.
Really?
Nope. Does nothing for me.
Huh.
But then again, I'm probably one of the few girls that didn't have a hard-on for Bret Hart either, though. So
people like Bret Hart like that too?
Oh my God, big time.
I was 5 and 6 years old when Bret Hart was big, maybe 10 at the most. So I wouldn't
feel old. Thank you.
I lived through the height of Bret Hart, man.
I thought it was the girl. I thought the girls all like Shawn, not Bret.
It was Shawn, Bret, Marty.
Not so much Marty.
Well, Marty,
Marty, but not so much. I mean,
I had a crush
during the Rockers.
I had a crush on Marty Jannetty. I had a big crush on Marty Jannetty.
I had a crush on Jeff Hardy.
Well, of course, every girl your age had a crush on Matt Hardy or Jeff Hardy. Yeah, but Jeff Hardy. But I mean, there were Matt girls, there were Jeff girls. It was actually there were 2 tag teams, the Hardys and Edge and Christian.
Yeah,
were like. You had something, I guess, for a little bit of something for everybody there. A couple different faces and body and hair types, and one guy had the tattoos, and one guy is more like a blonde vampire guy. I don't know.
I had a crush on Edge too.
Yeah.
Speaking of those two teams, there's possibility of them inducting the Dudleys into the Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah, well,
Bubba and Christian are doing that.
Bubba asked
Edge and Christian are doing
them,
it. Yep.
Yeah, he asked them
But
on
they
his
mentioned the
Busted
Hardys,
radio.
though.
He wants the Hardys up. He wants Bubba and Devon want the Hardys and Edge and Christian all up on the stage with them to acknowledge that they were the three teams that really brought back tag team wrestling, which they did. They absolutely did.
Does Matt stay in character when he goes up there at the
Wonderful.
The boys of Dudley.
The boys of Dudley. So, have you guys ever seen
Brother,
I knew you'd come. I got to share my screen again real quick because I don't know if you guys have ever seen this GIF before. Have you guys seen this where they take out the... This was this camera shot from Raw, I think, and there used to be a rope. The ring rope was in the middle, and they just took the middle part out so he doesn't have a nose. So when people talk about Edge, a lot of times I get this image in my head and I can't get it out. It's just it is the best representation. Yeah, he looks like a frog or something. I don't even know what he looks like. But that is what's in my head when somebody talks about Edge. Sometimes I'll see that little image.
It's a bit disturbing,
right? And I'm glad I could share it with the rest of the internet that hasn't seen it yet. Of course, if you put in WWE Edge GIF, it's the second one on Google Images. So I'm not like it's the first one on Google Images. Jesus Christ, poor guy. When you could you imagine that being you? Somebody puts in your name with GIF next to it, and it's some fucking weird ass GIF. What? Oh, that would be like if we just put in. We put in like, Eric GIF, and it was just you're missing your nose and just you talking.
Weird enough as it is. I don't need that.
You'd look like Dr. Bunsen Honeydew with no nose. Google it, kids.
By the way, Beaker and Sheamus are cousins.
Yes, that is coming.
I just got the family reunion.
That was a funny segment.
Celebrity Hall of Fame, okay?
I think the Muppets will make it. The Muppets could make it into the Celebrity Hall of Fame. They've done a lot with the show.
I believe in them.
Right. I mean, it's the Celebrity Hall of Fame. You could appear once like Drew Carey and get in.
Yeah.
Do we have any other pieces of
match though?
Yes, he was in the Royal Rumble and he tried to pay off Kane.
Did accept that bribe.
It would be nice. I mean, why Kane didn't come out and tombstone Drew Carey at the end of that segment, I don't know. If Pete Rose at 60-something years old could take a tombstone,
3 years in a row.
Right. Skinny. I'm not saying fat Drew Carey from the 90s. I'm saying in shape Drew Carey of modern day could take a pile driver. No problem. Right. The Price is Right. Because I think
weird, though.
He does. He looks very like they sucked the air out of him. Like they just stuck a thing in his neck and sucked all the air. Right, because it's just they put without he had a certain shape of his head and neck that we're all very used to, and then when he lost the weight, it all went away. That's why I grow a beard, because if I get fat, my chin makes my face look swollen. So I just grow the beard, and now I don't look fat. See,
I grow a beard to hide my face.
I mean, look, it works, right? You can't see the fucking fat chin or the rest of my face.
Have that option.
Exactly. I was gonna say, where the hell's my beard?
You take your hair and you put you take it down, you part it in the middle, and then you take a scrunchie and you put it underneath, and then you look like
because I have so much hair to do that.
I was gonna say you could try to do the Anvil Neidhart and just put it on.
Amanda, you look like you're in Fiddler on the Roof
I was
doing
just gonna
that.
Say,
matchmaker, make me a match. I don't think there was a blonde daughter, so there you go.
She looked like Mrs. Doubtfire when he was.
Yes.
It was him and Harvey Fierstein.
I need you to make me a woman. I'm so happy.
Do we have any other pieces of business to take care of in the last 4 minutes or so of the show? Because I know everybody wants to go and watch what's going to happen on SmackDown. So if there are no other questions, we'll refer you again to AskTheWarReport@gmail.com or the Facebook the YouTube live comments, which we answered all the questions in the YouTube live comments too, right? We handled that?
Yeah, we got that.
Excellent. So AskTheWarReport@gmail.com, hashtag AskTheWarReport, and tag @TagMeADate. If you want to ask a question, be considered to win a free pay-per-view pick'em from WrestleRumble.com. And of course, WrestleRumble.com will have NXT and WrestleMania pick'ems this year in about 3 weeks. So sign up early, sign up often, buy a 3-pack of picks, and put in 3 different entries. Mix up the finishes, and do like a babyface one and a heel one, or like one you think Vince would book and one you want to book. Just mix them up. Get a couple different picks in there. And of course, it is free to sign up for TagMeADate.com, the first and only dating site exclusively for fans of professional wrestling. Which, if you're listening to this podcast, you're a fan of professional wrestling, or if you're Sarah, you just listen to hate us.
Thank God we haven't heard from that bitch.
You know what's funny? I was going to say earlier today, I was almost late coming back to the podcast because people were dilly-dallying in Aldi. And there was a kid who was kind of talking back to his mother, and I just wanted to strangle him on behalf of her, because he was just talking back to everybody in the store. Like, the cashier said the price, and he's like, $37.50, and I want to be like, the fuck do you know about pricing groceries? Shut up. Like, I was
just hit him.
You know, talk back to the cashier. She just told you the total. You don't need to question it. You're 6.
You're not Chris Rock making comments. $37.50.
Right, and the kid
How old was this kid?
He couldn't have been more than 9.
Oh, I would have popped him.
That's unacceptable.
Yeah, he was talking, and the mother. It's funny because the kid was like talking back to the mom, but then he grabbed the little divider. He grabbed the divider and helped the lady behind him divide up the groceries. And the old lady was like, "Oh, you're so sweet," and the woman's like, "Nah, you got to threaten him with baby Jesus to get him to cooperate." And I'm like, "You better threaten him with adult Jesus, who's gonna beat you with a piece of wood." Fuck, don't.
What is this, Talladega Nights?
Yeah, seriously, she says she threatens him with baby Jesus. Well, you're not doing a good job because he's talking back. So I was like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, not criticizing her, because I don't know her life and how she parents. But I was looking at the kid like, man, somebody needs to get a rein in on this kid. And I'm like, man, now I'm sounding like Sarah. Like, I'm going to start telling people how to
rein on that kid.
Oh, I wish I could watch you through the webcam. I wish I could hit a button so the CD tray would come out and hit you in the knee. That would be the best button ever. I could just push a button and your CD tray pops out and slams you right in the knee.
Nice.
Right? That would be functional. All right, so I think we've covered everything. We even talked about the little kid that annoyed me in Aldi, which I needed to vent, so thank you. But if you're enjoying the War Report and you want to tune in again, we're here every week, every Tuesday, 7 p.m. on Eastern Time. If you go to youtube.com and you type in Tag Me a Date in the search bar, Tag Me a Date, but no spaces, smush it all together, Tag Me a Date. You'll see the official Tag Me a Date channel where you can like the videos, subscribe to the channel. The best thing to do is hit subscribe and then hit the bell, because the subscription thing just subscribes you. The bell actually alerts you when we upload a video or go live. So that's the best way to do it. YouTube.com, Tag Me a Date. Also follow Tag Me a Date on social media at Tag Me a Date. Once again, no spaces, Tag Me a Date. And we'll see you right back here next Tuesday, 7 p.m. on Eastern Time for another edition of the War Report. Thank you guys for listening.